Welcome to Forensic Friday.
Where we examine the intersection of true crime, psychology, and the heart of being human in the middle of it all.
So remember when I told you I was watching a bunch of cases that happened on cruise ships?
Yes.
So there was this one that I came across that is now a massive Netflix series.
Amy Bradley.
Amy Bradley. It's nuts because I had been thinking about that case since I watched all those cruise cases like a year ago.
I remember you mentioning this to me when you brought that amazing cruise case that
Yes.
I still think about. What
And
was the
then
name of that episode? I don't even
oh
remember.
gosh, I don't remember. Something.
We should plug it. We'll put it on the socials because it's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. But no, I remember this case vividly because of all the things that went into it. And I was like, I was actually starting to circle back on that series on Prime to
Yeah.
find this case. And then it came out on Netflix.
And then it popped up.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I saw it, watched it after you watched it. So I kind of worked through it a little over time.
Mm-hmm.
But it is really interesting, really sad. Really
Super sad.
moving and really sad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why don't you lay it out and then we can discuss? Because I know Nat and I have a bunch of thoughts on this one.
Yes, yes. So essentially, the Bradley family went on a Caribbean cruise through the Royal Caribbean line, which I've been. I've been on one of their cruises, the Caribbean cruise. I've been on it. Yeah, I've been on. I basically did the same cruise, but mine was a 10-day. Theirs was a 7.
By the way, I did a quick edit with Tina driving home from Boulder. I put a mic on her and made her talk about cruises because she's been telling me my entire life that you should never go on a cruise.
Well, now this is the reason.
This is one of the reasons, but she would say this.
What did she say? What were her reasons?
Well, rogue waves. Rogue waves can't have that.
What are road waves?
Like a big rogue wave, like a wave that comes out of nowhere and just knocks.
Well, did you hear about the cruise recently?
That's what I told her, and she goes,
and they all like got knocked around. I was like, oh hell no, that is my worst nightmare.
No, it's terrifying. Did you see the video of the wave coming up over the boat? I was like,
yes,
this is a thing. Why do we even go in the water?
Girl, I don't know.
But my mom, okay, rogue waves. It's lawless. It's international waters. My parents don't like that. They like to be in the US of A, preferably. And she really she doesn't trust anything man-made. We talked about that. Basically, she said, and I quote, hell for me would be getting on a cruise ship. Like literally, if I go to hell, Satan will be waiting on a cruise ship. That's what she said.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. I've been on a cruise. And I liked it a lot.
Norovirus. Sorry, that was the other thing. Norovirus. Everybody's pooping and throwing up, and that's.
Oh gosh, yeah. I've been on a cruise.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really positive experience.
You liked it.
I liked it. I was also like in 8th grade.
Oh, that's
mind
cute.
you. So I was
very cute.
Yes, it was a long time ago. And I met. Get this. I met the founder of Celestial Seasoning.
No.
Yeah. So if you look at some of the boxes, and so the guy owned it or was the founder, owned it, sold it, and then bought it back. And so on some of the old boxes, if you look at it on the back, it'll say Mo Siegel.
Oh.
We met him and his family, and his daughter is my age, and we became really good friends for a while.
Oh, I love that.
And I would go. They had a house in Vail and Boulder. They were from Boulder.
Because you can tour it.
You can tour, yes. And so I would go hang out all the time at their Vail house with them.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So
you never know who you'll meet on a cruise.
Pretty fun fact. Yeah.
That's so exciting. You're practically famous.
I know, right?
You know? Mm-hmm.
I feel that way. But that was my experience of a cruise, and I really did enjoy it. I made some good friends, but I do remember, dude, like there's some weird shit that happens on cruises.
100%.
Like weird stuff.
We were supposed to go on an Alaskan cruise when I found out I
That
was
would be
pregnant with
fun.
Mac. And that
Oh,
I
I would
still
never
want
do
to
that pregnant.
No, but I still really want to do an Alaskan cruise. And you kind of there's like one rough part I've heard, but then you're kind of on the coast and it's not supposed to
Mhm.
be quite as terrible. So I don't know. But
Well, we have a friend who's on an Alaskan cruise right now.
we do?
Yes,
Oh, I'm so jealous. I'll have to see pictures.
I know.
Oh, but I do want to do that someday. But my mom has made it abundantly clear my entire life you do not get on a cruise ship. So,
Yeah, well, there's weird stuff that happens, i.e., Amy Bradley.
and can we just say, first of all, I know you're going to get into all the stuff, but
Hmm.
how likable is she just from a human standpoint and how people describe her? I was
I
invested
know.
immediately, even just seeing how she
I
was like with
know.
her brother.
I know. Yeah, their whole family just seems like grade A humans, like just amazing
Mhm.
humans.
So you said they got on a Royal Caribbean cruise. This was like in the late 90s, right?
Yes, 98.
98. Okay.
Hmm. So they get on the cruise. Okay, that was the departure. Okay. Amy, her parents, Ron and Iva, and her younger brother, Brad, boarded the Rhapsody of the Seas in San Juan, Puerto Rico. The cruise went to Carousel, I always say that weird, Aruba, and other places in that area.
Okay.
The night before she disappeared, kind of like the night that she disappeared or slash night before, if that makes sense, because there's like a timeline that's a little fuzzy. So again, so there's different nights on a cruise. So one of the nights is like a formal night. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I remember there are numerous formal nights, but I could be wrong. Oh no,
And
there is
everybody
there
dresses
is
up,
one.
sort of.
There is
That's
just
the
one.
and that's the
Yes.
expectation. Okay.
Yes, and there is just one now that I'm remembering. The cool thing about the cruise I went on was I was obsessed. They had this cold soup, but it wasn't like veggie soup or anything like that. It was like
I've had this soup before, and it's
I know, I like made
so
a
bad.
staple in my brain and it was like a fruity soup.
You need to Google soup, cold soup,
Cruise.
Royal Caribbean, and then the year. And maybe there's other people like you who are
I should
cold
look.
soup evangelists.
I should look. They didn't give it to me one night because it had a tiny bit of rum in it.
Oh,
And because whenever I would show up at the table, because they realized, and this was the other thing about cruises, is it is literally their job to get to know you as best as they can to make your experience really, really good. So you feel really cared for, you feel really known. So when I did mine, there was always cold soup as like an appetizer for me, except one night, which was the formal night, because I had a teeny bit of rum, but then my parents gave permission that I could have it because it's basically like it's like cooked out, but well, I don't know. I couldn't really taste it, but I also didn't know what rum tasted like
no
at
wonder you
that
loved
age.
it so much. It's a tiny
I
bit.
know, I
Just
know.
a
I
little,
was
just a
drunk
little,
as an eighth grader.
Touch.
Just kidding. Wasn't enough in there for that, but they did want to get my parents' permission to let me have that if it was
Yeah.
okay. So anyway, the formal night after dinner and all that, Brad and Amy go to the disco, right? So there's a lot of different areas to dance and have fun, and there's just a lot on a cruise. It's a lot,
A lot you can do.
a lot. You can do a lot of activities. Amy was seen socializing with the ship's band, Orchid. Sorry, Blue
Okay.
Orchid. Specifically, the bass player who went by Yellow. His real name is Alistair Douglas.
Okay. And they were dancing.
Dancing. Yes. Yes, yes,
Hmm.
yes, yes, yes. Around 1 a.m. Well, Brad went back to the room shortly after, which was around 1 a.m. Amy then returned to the room as well.
So the first time I started this, I thought Brad was her partner, not brother. And I was like,
Oh,
oh, that's shady as hell. Why would he leave her at the disco and go back to the room? Like, what did he think was going to happen? And then I was like, I'm an idiot. It's a brother. It's her
it's her
brother.
brother. Yep. Yes. And she showed up shortly after
Yes.
him. And they like, because I believe they talked for a second and then she went, oh, yeah, they did. And then she went out on the balcony because she wasn't feeling great and he went to bed. Sometime in that night between 1 a.m. and 5:15-ish a.m., she goes missing. Okay.
Mm.
So around 5:15, her dad, Ron, briefly saw Amy sleeping on the cabin balcony. So she had fallen asleep out there. He like saw her shoes, saw her cigarettes, stuff like that. Then at 6, he woke up again and noticed she was gone. Her shoes were still in the room. Her cigarettes and her were not.
And they're thinking she went and got breakfast. That's what I'd be thinking. She went looking for coffee.
Well, that's exactly what they thought. So that's really interesting. Also, one of the big things that they noted was that the staff was like obsessed with her,
Mm.
right? So they would come, the waiters would go to her first, they would compliment her a bunch, just like kind of showered her with attention.
They kind
And
of
they made
fawned over
jokes.
her.
If yeah, they made jokes. Her family made jokes. If you basically, if you want anything done, just ask Amy to ask for it and they'll like do it right away.
So
So there
interesting.
was already something about her that stuck out to staff, which like my conspiracy theory brain has a lot of thoughts about that.
Yes.
A lot. And now it doesn't help my like suspicious nature,
Mm-mm.
it just doesn't help.
No.
So the day of the disappearance, the ship was docking in Carousel. It's some of the research I did said the captain delayed uh basically letting passengers off, but I don't think that actually happened. So what happened that Amy's parents said was that they went and told them, "Hey, our daughter's missing." And the captain basically said, "Sounds like you've really looked hard. Look a little longer."
Like an hour or something.
An
Like take
hour,
another
yeah, 30
hour.
minutes or an hour, and come back if you can't find her.
Well, and they didn't want to disturb people. And I saw this thing on TikTok, and it was this woman with like pots and pans, and she was like, "Me after the captain says they don't want to disrupt the crew." I was like, "Oh,
100%.
if that isn't how I would be, I don't know what is."
Dude, 100%. I was thinking that too. I was like, I
I'd
cannot.
be yelling
Actually,
up and down the halls. But you can get detained, like, no joke though, we say that. But
I
cruise
know.
ships have their own like police
Wow.
security situation. Like it's a whole
Kind of though.
thing.
It's the captain. The captain is the sheriff.
So you don't want to get thrown in some freaking it's all weird. This is what
No,
makes me
I know. It's like it's sketch. It's funny. My parents go on cruises literally all the time.
really.
Yes. Like my mom won one from the casino. They go on cruises with her sister. Oh yeah, yeah. No, they are like big cruisers. Cruisers.
Big cruiser. Big cruiser.
So I thought that was interesting too, though, when they basically were like, we don't want to make a thing out of it. What did they say? I wrote it down. Hold on, let me find it. Oh, yeah. Okay. They wouldn't do a page because it would create a panic. I'm like, create the panic.
Well, yeah. I mean, I get okay, so I understand if I'm on a cruise and 7 o'clock in the morning, they're like, Jimmy John is missing from blah blah blah. Like I can understand not wanting to blast that at 7 o'clock in the morning when she really could be just hanging out somewhere having breakfast.
Sure.
Also, I think most human beings, if you have a frantic family and this is an adult or a child, either way, someone is
Sure.
missing. I mean, I wouldn't be upset about that, but I think the cruise, because they're
Oh,
creating this like Disneyland experience, they're probably
yeah.
trying to balance all of it.
Well, here's the thing. I understand it
No,
from
it's
that,
sucky though.
but I'm like, but someone's missing,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Oh, for sure.
And it's a big organization.
Mm.
I don't know. Again, my skeptical brain goes to a lot of different things that I probably won't share most of because whatever.
I want to hear it.
So then they came back. I just think there's more to it. I think people, anyway, I'll get into some of it.
Oh, I have theories too. I wrote some of them down. I was like, my brain was going on a thing.
Oh, yeah. No, no, no. So they obviously went back after 30 minutes or an hour because they didn't find their freaking daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And then they announced, Amy, please contact the person's desk. Amy Bradley, please contact the person's desk.
Meanwhile, the entire cruise ship is leaving to go do their excursions, go
Yes.
shopping, go
Oh
do
yeah,
all
no,
the
it's
things.
it's already docked and they're getting off the boat.
So if someone had her, worst
Yeah.
case, or if she was in a
Yeah.
bad spot,
Yeah.
they didn't secure the scene, they didn't lock down the
Yeah.
people, but it is a floating city.
Yes. And they literally said, we are not going to stop everybody's cruise experience because one girl is missing.
Mm.
I'll stop everyone's fucking experience if my daughter goes missing.
What is mom's
Sorry,
name
Tina.
again? Iva?
Iva.
Okay, Iva, first of all, is a vibe. I love her.
Yes.
I love her. We'd be friends. I want to have lunch with her. Iva's a good human being.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know as a mother how you function in that situation. They did everything to draw attention, to search. They opened their cabin up. I mean, they cooperated. They just wanted help finding their daughter,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they didn't get much.
Mm-hmm.
But Iva just must have been and was, I mean, she said, just completely distraught and completely helpless.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like if this happens at a Walmart, I'm gonna reach over the counter and grab the thing. McAllen, come to the front desk, blah blah blah.
Right. Oh my
You
goodness.
can intervene on a ship like that. You can't make anything happen.
No, you can't. Because yeah, this is very brief, this part, because I want to
Mhm.
get into the theories.
Same.
Okay. So the Royal Caribbean initially suggested that she likely fell overboard.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they were close enough to Carousel that she probably, like, she potentially could have swam to shore.
Apparently, she was a good
Also,
swimmer and may have even joked about it at one point.
yes. Also, which, like, yeah. Also, one of the law enforcement individuals, I forget who it was, in Carousel said if someone fell overboard, their body would have washed up to shore. At least a part of them would have washed
Said
up
it
to
crystal clear, and the guy who said that
convinced.
is a local who's been on the
Yep.
islands his whole life and said the
Yep.
way the current is,
Yep.
if somebody jumped and or tried to swim and drowned or something, they would wash up.
Yep. Yep.
They even knew when they would probably wash up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And was very specific about, like, there
Yes,
was no questioning what he was saying.
that's right.
So obviously the FBI also did get involved. Thankfully, they're still involved,
Yes.
which is amazing. So they did get involved. There's no leads. There's nothing, right? So they investigated Yellow, Alistair Douglas. I mean, he's a sketchy human in general, and we can get into that a little bit
Mhm.
because his daughter is in the documentary. She calls in and is like, hey, I might have some information. Tries to call her dad on video.
So much respect for her.
Oh my gosh, she's like, full send it. Let's just figure this out.
And clearly she was really torn. I just found her very impressive and
Yeah,
capable that
yeah,
she's trying to be helpful.
yep, yep.
And he was sketchy with her on the phone.
He was. Well, honestly, Janine, he sounds like some of our guys on day one.
Yes. Yes, I would
You
agree
know
with
what I
that.
mean? And I'm not saying that as a shot to our dudes, but I don't know what happened.
The math ain't mathin'.
I
That's
was
what I
just
will say.
dancing with her. Why'd you have all these pictures of Caucasian women? I take lots of pictures with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just like, bro.
Very evasive about dumb stuff.
Yes, dumb stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that night he was very aggressive with his family
Mm,
when he got home,
that's right.
right? So that leaves for a lot of thoughts in my brain. What other information do you want to share that you learned about the FBI involvement.
I liked the FBI agents who got involved.
Yep.
I think they cared. I think they had very little to go on. I get the sense that emotionally it was hard on them
Mm-hmm.
too, to not be able to do anything and to be in this place. Also,
Mm-hmm.
the FBI does not mess around. So the fact that they had this scene that they couldn't fully secure, they have like the table up against the railing where maybe she jumped, right? But also, they're the FBI. They're not stupid. So they're like, somebody could have moved the table. It doesn't mean anything. She might have just had her feet up, like whatever. I found the FBI agents to be pretty great and thorough, and it just I think it's easy to look at it from a 2025 lens and go, we could probably do a bit more, not a lot more, but a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more now than we could have probably then.
Yeah.
But they got involved too late, partially because it's a cruise ship. Like
Yep.
Tina says, you're at
Yep.
the mercy of the cruise ship.
Yep. Yep. And it didn't get reported right away
Hmm.
the way that it should have. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Absolutely.
It was a whole thing.
There's so many pieces that we can't talk about all of them. You have to just watch it.
Yeah. And well, and that's not what our role is, right? Like I'm not
Mm-mm.
going to go and copy what Netflix did, but I did want to give a brief overview of the timeline and some of the theories about it.
Well, and you and I are in a unique position to have a theory because we have a little bit of experience with people who break the law.
Mm-hmm.
We understand a little about power and control dynamics and also human trafficking, if in fact that's a piece of this case, which we're going to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want to get into right now.
Yep. 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 One of the things that I did think was interesting, they don't really get into this in the Netflix series, is that Bradley's did file a lawsuit against the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line.
What happened? Did they get any payout?
No, it was dismissed.
Well, that's annoying.
I know, and I'm going to be honest. I mean, I would have sought legal action too, but because it's like, as Mac would say, lawless
Lawless.
territory,
Lawless.
and there's just no answers. There's no. That was what one of the FBI agents said. There's no evidence. Otherwise, if there's evidence that Yellow was involved, he would be in custody. Like,
Yes, and the cruise line would play a role, a negligent role, if there was a
yeah,
background they didn't pay attention to, or
right.
if there was an unsafe feature on the ship that caused her to fall, or anything like that. But it
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
they didn't have anything that they could put their
No.
hands around.
No. So I'm getting into some of the sightings and not theories yet, but some of the sightings. You
Well,
ready?
that's the thing. So the documentary, they go through what happened, which Nat laid out beautifully as per usual.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate it.
Then all of a sudden it's like people saw her.
Yeah.
So
But
tell the
here's,
people. This is the
well, and it's
craziest part to me.
I know, and I think because it's not super recent. It was still in the 90s and early 2000s when people had these sightings. And so we still didn't have the same type of media exposure that we have now. And I will be honest, I don't love the media exposure that we have now for a lot of reasons, but this is one of the reasons that I actually do like that we have it because stuff like this could, if someone goes missing, the hope is that with how quick things spread,
Hmm.
that would be really helpful. But back then, we just didn't have this.
They would have found her today. If this
Oh,
happened today,
I agree. Yeah.
they would find her because
Yep.
social media, all the people on vacations, all the
Yeah.
things, they would have found her.
Yeah. Yeah. So some of the sightings, and I'm not going to get into like every single little detail of these, but
Mm-mm.
or names
The
because I
gist.
truly don't remember all the names.
Mm-mm.
So there was a man who this one stuck out to me, I think the most. This one and the one you said earlier with the woman in the bathroom. There was a man who was in the military, I forget what branch, who went to a bar that he wasn't supposed to go to. And he's honest about this in the series, so you guys can go watch it. He went to a bar that he wasn't supposed to go to, i.e., a brothel. And these men brought out some women to sit down with him. One of them got up, went to the bar, and from what this man says, Amy stayed at the table and basically told him what happened. His story was interesting though, because he said she talked about getting off the boat to score some drugs, which doesn't line up with who she is. And that part people were like, I don't know if that's really what happened or how that went, or like I think people questioned if he even really saw her based on some of the questions the interviewers were asking him. And his responses were legit. Basically, he said, why would I have anything to hide? I have nothing to gain from this. It's embarrassing, basically, for
Yeah,
him
it's not
because,
flattering, but in any way.
well,
No.
no, and it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't paint a good picture for him. And, I low key kind of hated him, but I liked his honesty when he said, I didn't know what to do and I was going to retire soon. And if I got caught doing something like this, it would have lowered my ranking, which would have lowered his retirement. In my brain, and again, hindsight's 2020. I'm like, who gives a rat's ass, bro? Like this is someone's life.
We love people who tell on themselves, though, so I find him pretty credible.
I agree.
It's also possible she wasn't necessarily looking for drugs. She may have been partying with somebody and it turned into a hole.
Like, let's get off the boat.
Yes, and that has morphed in his brain over the years into
Yeah,
getting drugs, getting whatever. Also,
sure.
she was like college age. She was having a good time. I don't know
Hmm.
that she wasn't thinking that she might have used cocaine or something. You know what I
Sure,
mean? Like it's not
sure.
totally out of the realm of
No, it's not.
possibility, but
Well,
that
and
is
then
not her character. It's not like she was a known drug user or anything like
no,
that.
yeah, yeah, no. And then there was those, I think, I can't remember if it was one woman or women who said that they saw her going up the elevator with Yellow
Yeah.
around that time, but there's no proof. There's no
No.
proof besides what they said, and they can't prove the timeline of that.
Mm-mm.
So that's part of the other issue, right? Like
Uh,
cruises, when you use your key card on the doors, it tracks when you enter, but it doesn't track when you leave. So it
yeah.
tracked when she entered at around 1 a.m., but it didn't track her leaving.
I believe with everything in me that she left the boat with yellow.
Oh yeah, I do too.
100%.
Did you? Or was smuggled off. I'll get into that.
Yes.
Then there's the woman in the bathroom.
Yes.
I feel like, had a pretty credible story too, because why would she make that up?
She also just she cared. You could tell she cared.
And it ate at her.
So this woman saw her in the bathroom
Her
and
name was Judy.
her name was Judy and they run into each other and Judy I think could tell she was an American or wondered or something, asked her where she was from. She made this connection because Amy said what Judy thought was West Virginia. And
Hmm.
Judy was like, "Oh, I know so and so from there, blah blah blah." And her reaction, I think, totally freaked Amy out because Amy
Mm,
was acting, if this was Amy, the alleged Amy, was
right,
acting as if she was not supposed to talk to anybody, acting kind of
right.
nervous, a
Well,
little,
and got kind of in her face.
and then got in her face because
Yeah,
I think Amy realized if I don't shut her up, I'm going to pay for it.
yeah,
Right? Because you know
yeah.
how Americans are, like how I would be in a bathroom, like, oh my God, you're from Denver? Like, well, hi,
Right, right,
And then I
right,
think Amy was like, how can I shut this woman up the fastest way? And it was
right.
to kind of get in her face.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so this
Yeah.
woman was super unsettled, went to leave. There's a
The
man
men walked
standing at the
up.
door. Yeah, a man was
Yeah.
standing like right there.
Well, they walked in.
Uh-huh. And it was
She was
threatening.
like, "Excuse me, I gotta get by."
Yeah,
I love that she said that. I was like, I could totally see that.
it was threatening enough to her that she, yeah, started
Yeah.
acting dumb to her. It's just scooching her way out because it was a little scary.
Well,
And I
yeah.
think she said that she saw Amy leave with like a man kind of on each side. Like they kind of
Yes.
walked her out after that.
Yep.
And she told her husband about it and he was like, what are we gonna do? And it's true,
Mhm.
you're in a different country on an island. What are you
Mhm.
gonna do? Because was
I
that
know.
in I think was in
Maybe
Barbados.
Aruba, Barbados. Yeah, I
I
don't
think it
remember.
was Barbados was where that happened. But either way, one of the little islands right there. There's a couple right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And side note, when I was in high school, I took a trip. I think I've talked about this on the pod before, but we went to Anguilla
Hmm.
and it was such a cool trip. My mom would never let me go now, which you'll hear in the soundbite with my mom. She would never let me go now after Natalie Holloway and all this cruise stuff.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
not a cruise. We flew there, but it was Anguilla is off the coast of Puerto Rico, which is very different than being off the coast of Venezuela.
Yeah.
As I was watching this, though, I was thinking a lot about my time in that area because we went out to a nightclub and danced. We did all kinds of
Hmm.
stuff, right? I mean, in the Caribbean, and I
Hmm.
was really young and dumb, but there were a lot of us. But I
Hmm.
remember thinking, like, we went dancing with the locals, we did all that kind of stuff. You really could get swept into something in the Caribbean that way. Like, everybody
Hmm.
knows everybody. Tourists are idiots and they're easy marks for
Yep.
locals. Locals know everything that's going
Yep.
on.
Yep.
And when I was looking at the Curacao, how do I say it?
Curacao. Yeah.
Curacao. When I was
Curacao.
Curacao.
Curacao. There you go.
Okay, when I was looking at the island of Curacao and I'm looking at the images of the neighborhoods and some of the seedier places,
Yeah.
that didn't look like Anguilla. It
No.
looked very different, but
Yeah.
I do remember kind of thinking like, geez, I probably was a hop and a skip from stuff that like this kind of stuff and just had no
Yeah.
awareness of it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No, well, and that's the scary part.
with the sightings, I'm thinking this about some of these folks who saw her.
Yeah.
I mean, you almost wouldn't be able to place it. Like your first thought isn't going to be this person's under duress, but it stuck with them because she
Right.
wasn't okay.
Right. Well, and I think, even you bring up Natalie Holloway, she just, and we'll do a whole thing on her too, because that's a crazy case.
Mm-hmm.
She disappeared in 2005.
Yes.
So even after Amy Bradley disappeared, and we still didn't have the resources that we have now,
So true.
right? But yeah, I mean it's sketchy, and I think especially after the Natalie Holloway case, because that case got blown up pretty quickly. Amy's did not, unfortunately.
Mm.
But again, it was in the late 80s. Things didn't travel the same way they traveled even in the early 2000s. We had Facebook in the early 2000s, right? We had
I do
other
remember this hitting the news though, but you're right. It wasn't like constant on the ticker for 3 weeks. This person's missing. It was not like that, but it
not
did
like
hit the
Natalie
news
Holloway.
because I
Yes,
do remember it.
yes. But I remember when Natalie Holloway's hit the news. Oh, sorry. And that was 2 years before my senior year. And I remember a bunch of people my senior year were going to Mexico, and my mom was like, to over my dead body, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to Mexico with a bunch of other teenagers who are
Mm-mm.
going to be drinking by yourself with like literally almost no adult supervision.
Nope.
So I didn't. I went on a trip with my mom, which
There you
was
go.
fun. But yeah, it's just, we didn't know about these things back then. And then it became a little bit more known as time went,
Yes. Do
right?
you think they saw her? If you had to bet,
I do.
if
I
you had
do
to
think
bet
they
money,
saw
would
her.
you bet money that they saw Amy Bradley?
I do think they saw her. I also in 2006 when those possible quote unquote pictures emerged of her, right? And the
Yeah.
FBI did a whole thing on that where they like matched the jawbone,
Yes.
her ear, and there was a lot of identifying marks that they thought that was Amy Bradley, and it was being sent. Also, that website that they created and they would upload pictures and all that, and how there was a significant time spent on significant dates, birthdays, holidays. That's wild. Like, why?
The pictures sent me. They
Yes.
sent me. I already believed that these people saw her, but
Yes.
if there was any part of me that was still kind of like, I don't know, the pictures,
Yes.
just seeing them. And I'm not
Yes.
somebody who can like matchy match super
No.
well. Like if somebody
No.
even has long hair, I'm like, is that the same? You know, I don't know who anyone is.
Right.
I'm constantly confused between this person and this person.
Right.
Not in real life. I'm talking about like celebrities. But anyway, I looked at those pictures. I'm like, that's the same. That's the same
Yeah.
person. Then the FBI gets in here with the jawline and the
No, I
measurement of the
know. And the
ear. And I'm like,
ear.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it's the same.
But then when with the website, when the family
Yes.
creates that website and someone across seas is spending time,
Yes.
minutes, I mean like 45 minutes looking through these pictures again on specific dates. It's wild. And I think this is what I think.
I was
And then
gonna say, girl, cut to the chase. What do you think?
and then there was another sighting where they heard her say, "Can we see the kids?" So I think she got trafficked
Hmm.
somehow. I don't know how she got off the freaking boat. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't
She
either, but
either
it had to do with yellow.
smuggled or she left willingly with Yellow.
Yes.
She somehow got off that boat. She got in a really bad situation. And from then on, she was trafficked. So I believe she was trafficked fully. I believe she probably got pregnant and had some kids.
I think you're probably right
And
now.
I think based on how she complied, she would be allowed to see them or not see them.
See them or not see them, and they probably threaten the kids' lives if she told anybody.
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
say in the
They would
documentary
never.
that they threaten the family, which that could be. It could
Yep.
be that,
Yep.
you got people sitting there with guns going, we have people all over the world, we'll kill your
Yep.
family. Like that
Yep.
would have an impact. And maybe that was enough at first, but you have somebody's child.
Oh yeah,
You
no, no.
threaten to put the
Well, and
child in
especially if
in a
they're like,
nice
okay, well,
house.
if you don't, well, and if they're like, well, if you don't comply, then we're keeping them. Like
Yes.
you'll never see them again. And I mean, I being a mom now, that would be, I mean, I can't even imagine being put in that position.
There is nothing that you wouldn't do to protect your kid.
And so if this is true about her,
Yes.
she might be making from what she believes is the best decision at that
Yeah.
time.
Impossible choices. You sons of bitches, if any of you get any ideas, just stop.
Well, and here's the thing.
Hmm.
Even thinking a little bit more about it, even if she did figure a way out, now there would be a higher chance of getting those kids rescued as well.
Yes.
Because she would have names, she would have places, right? So even I say that because I can't imagine any of the things that she's potentially, allegedly
Right.
going through, right? But it's hard if I would imagine being in that position, it would be hard making any type of decision aside from just what you've been doing for however many years. I mean, shoot, she was taken in 98.
Hmm.
So
We're going on
20,
30 years in
30 years.
2028. So 20 over 25 years ago.
Yes. I
Nuts.
can imagine I mean, there's like the Stockholm syndrome, like there's a lot of things that could be going on at this
Well, and then
point.
your life is just not there anymore. Like at some point, your life is a
Right.
different life.
Yes.
Also, do you think she's alive?
Now,
Hmm.
I mean, she'd be in her because she was 22, I think, when this happened.
Pushing 50.
Yeah. Shoot, if there's kids involved, she could be still alive, to be honest.
She could be still alive. I think they're gonna find out what happened to her. I
I
think
do
all
too.
of this, they're gonna figure it
I
out.
have a feeling. I
It
have a
is hard
feeling.
for me to believe, and I am like praying for your girl, so I want
Right.
her to be alive. It is
Right.
hard for me to believe at this point with technology and where we are now that if she's alive,
Hmm.
she hasn't maneuvered away at this point.
Right. Right.
It's too hard to keep it contained. And
I agree.
she's a fighter too. But
Yeah.
I want to talk about trafficking for a minute because I think
Yes.
very few things have been as royally insane in our country that people talk about
Mm-hmm.
as trafficking in the last couple of years in particular. So I want to like
Mm-hmm.
Garrett, I asked Garrett, I said, Garrett, what should we hit on? Like what do the people want to know? And Natalie and I historically, with no details at all, have worked with trafficking victims. This is something we've done.
Yep.
It's not uncommon in certain circles for some of this behavior to happen.
Right.
And it doesn't look the way you think it looks. So we're gonna like break it down a little bit.
Yep. 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 Yep.
So, couple of myths. I actually have them. I'm gonna grab them really fast and we'll
Okay.
talk about them and you can give some examples too.
Yeah. Well, and I remember that training we did a couple of
Mhm.
years ago.
Oh, so good.
Yep.
We get the best trainings from the DVOMB on all of these things. And there's such an overlap between power and control, domestic
Mm-hmm.
violence, trafficking, sexual violence. There's so much
Mm-hmm.
overlap that we end up getting trained in all the things at once.
Yep.
Couple myths. Number one, that human trafficking involves kidnapping or physical force.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, sometimes not.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that traffickers prey on the most is any vulnerabilities,
Yep.
which can be poverty, homelessness, substance abuse, etc. And honestly, one of the biggest things that happens worldwide, I'm not just talking US, worldwide, is they create a situation where you can never repay a debt.
Mm.
Whether it's drugs, money, whatever it is, something happens where you can't repay it.
Right.
And so that is typically actually how people end up ensnared in this stuff.
Yep. Yep.
The most common form of trafficking is actually domestic
Labor.
trafficking. It's labor
Yeah.
trafficking.
Yep.
It's not
Well,
even sex trafficking.
and I'm gonna just give some examples. Obviously, there's no like details that I even really know of in this specific thing
Yes, yes.
that I'm about to share. But in the training we did, that's what they talked about, right? And they gave examples of people coming over like au pairs or
Yes,
people who are signing up to live in someone's home, and then the family takes their means to get back home away and basically says you're here until we say you can go.
absolutely.
And then like what you said, they end up falling into this quote unquote debt
I can't pay. I
they
don't
can't
have a
pay.
visa.
Yeah.
And then you can end up in a really scary thing pretty fast.
Yeah.
The other thing that's a huge myth is that traffickers are strangers. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
actually, wait, I want
Mm-hmm.
to go back really quick. When we're talking about human trafficking, not necessarily being sex trafficking, it's more common to be labor trafficking. That does not
Right.
mean that sex trafficking is not significant because it is.
Yep.
But the other things are actually more prevalent and it's more men than women in that specter. So when you talk
Yes.
about
Yes.
men and boys versus women and girls,
Yep.
more men and boys are affected by trafficking than women and girls
Yep. In that type.
in that capacity. But there are
Yep.
also men and boys victimized by sex trafficking too.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
just something that it just isn't always how we think it looks. Another myth is that traffickers are always strangers. Honestly, that is way less likely.
Right.
Now, we believe in this case that may have happened to Amy Bradley.
Yes, I do believe that.
Even then, this is someone that she was socializing with on the boat, potentially, right?
Right.
Allegedly.
Yep. Allegedly.
This idea that people, Garrett was like, you have to say this one specifically. So here you go, y'all. The idea that someone sees you in a Target, puts a ribbon on your car, and then plans to intercept you and your child, that's not happening.
Right.
I'm telling you. Now, should you be vigilant in parking lots? Yes. Should you keep an eye on your
Absolutely.
kids? Yes. All of the things. But
Mm-hmm.
statistically, y'all, that's not a thing. So, what happens online, and this is what happened with Wayfair and the $3,000 wardrobes that
Oh
everyone
my
thought were
gosh.
children. Okay.
Yes.
Take a breath.
That was
You are
nuts.
too deep in the internet. Many of these people are actually trafficked by their own families
Yeah.
or within a gang situation where they're repaying debts, or there's a drug situation happening, romantic partners, employers. Very rarely, actually, is it a stranger. So it can be. And again, if it's a stranger, it's probably somebody who's homeless, maybe somebody who
Mm-hmm.
runs away from home and they get swept into some stuff. They're involved in drugs, maybe they're
Yeah.
involved in prostitution and they get swept into the stuff. So
Yeah.
the best way to prevent, I just have to say this because people get so nuts. And then we have
I
people
know.
showing up with guns at pizza parlors. Like it's just
Right.
wild. People just lose their minds. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, one of the best ways that we can prevent trafficking is to take care of vulnerable populations. Period.
Yes.
So if you're
Yeah.
that worked up about it, instead of showing up with a rifle, find another way, right?
Agreed.
But it's
Well,
really important to know that it's not just strangers in your local Target trying to
mhm.
take you.
That can happen. However, you're correct.
But also, it would be, listen, it'd be on the news. If people were disappearing from Targets everywhere,
Within
we would
seconds,
be
I
here.
know.
I know that I'm like being
Within seconds.
hyperbolic. It is good to pay attention.
Yes. Well, and here's the thing. So Janine and I have done a couple of adolescent cases. They're really hard to do for a lot of reasons. And
Yes,
what I will say is a lot like Janine's saying, we most of the time it's not a stranger. So some of the adolescent cases that I have not done and I will not do
same.
are it's their parents who are the offenders and their parents are the ones who are basically trafficking their children.
Absolutely.
Right. And those are a lot of the sexual related trafficking cases that we see primarily.
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
Right.
And
And
if you
so
talk to any play therapist, if you talk to any family systems therapist, they will tell
exactly.
you the same thing. The people who come in the office who've been hurt by trafficking, it's been honestly family,
Yeah. Which
family
is
friends.
so ugly. It's so
It's
ugly.
ugly. Okay, another myth is that human trafficking requires like moving people around.
Yes.
That's a myth. That's not a thing. Now that does happen. So like
Yep.
truck stops are pretty notorious.
Yeah.
Airports, hotels. Garrett told me about a site that you can go on, and if you
Yeah.
upload a picture, did he send this to you? Or do you already know
No,
about this?
I just knew about it.
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know about this. There's a
Yeah. Yeah.
website, maybe we'll post it, where you can post a picture of your hotel room. It helps them catalog different
Hmm.
places where when they see images of people who've been involved in trafficking situations, they start to figure out which hotels are being targeted. Maybe there's a chain, maybe there's a connection,
Yep.
that kind of stuff, which I think
Yep.
that is very cool.
Well, and now in airports, there's at least I haven't been to an airport in a long time, but there was a lot of signs like in bathrooms that gave help, like helplines or like a QR code of if this is you, scan this, and we'll come intervene, stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that are happening to try to help the more random situations that aren't, family related or domestic work or whatever.
Yeah, sometimes it can all happen within one home,
Yeah,
single
I know.
town, single
It's
city.
so nuts.
Colorado's real bad because of the way our interstates work. So we have I-25 and we have I-70. So
Yeah,
from a drug perspective and a trafficking, we do see a fair bit of that here. And we're in the
yeah,
middle of the country, so we just see a
yeah,
lot of stuff.
yeah.
The last myth that I have is that all commercial sex work is human trafficking.
Mm,
Oh, this one's hard to talk about, but it's a myth. So,
yep,
under federal law, any commercial sex act involving a minor under 18, that's human trafficking for sure,
yep,
regardless of force, fraud, or coercion. So, even if they say that they signed up for this, you can't sign up for anything like this ever, to be frank. That's what I think. But
yeah,
under 18, you really can't. For
right.
adults, commercial sex is considered human trafficking only if it involves force, fraud, or coercion.
Okay.
So that legal
Mm,
threshold is, we learned this in our training, makes it a little bit harder to prosecute for the
yep,
same reason that some other offenses are hard to prosecute. It's a little bit harder to prove coercion
yep,
than just the sexual nature of the behaviors that are happening.
yeah.
So there you
Yeah.
go.
What were your theories of what happened to Amy?
I personally think she either left willingly or was smuggled off the boat
Mm-hmm.
because no one saw a struggle. I think she
Yeah.
went somewhere willingly. Now, it could have been that she went to a staff room to hang out for some kind of an after party or a morning coffee with somebody she'd hung out with and then was taken off the ship a different way. That's possible. But
Well, and there are a lot of weird
yes,
things on ships.
yes, the whole that part is very scary to me. Like the
Yeah.
claustrophobia part of me is not crazy about the idea of a cruise ship.
Yeah, no.
I know it's like a floating city for better or worse. It's big.
Yeah. No, it's scary. Yeah.
So I think that happened. I think she was trafficked. I think she was taken in by people and was held. I
Yeah.
believe, and again, this is total opinion. This isn't based on
Speculation. Yeah.
total speculation, but I believe the sightings. I believe the picture.
I do too.
I think she was and maybe is still out there, and I'm just really hopeful
Yeah.
maybe they find her.
Yeah.
And I hope this whole case illuminates the the risk associated and the truth behind human trafficking. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I wanted to get at in this
Yes.
recording because one of the things that we do, we go on vacation and we just turn our brain off a little bit, particularly on a cruise. There's something about all-inclusive hotels,
Mm-hmm.
cruises, that kind of stuff. We get in this
Well, there's
weird mode.
a little bit of a false safety.
All safety, we're seeing the same people, we're feeling really comfortable,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we let our guard down. And I think that's part of why we see some of this stuff happen in these kind of resorts and on cruise ships is because
Yeah.
people they sort of check out a little bit.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's a good reminder to stay vigilant and
Mhm.
pay attention. And you know me and alcohol, man. I have strong opinions about getting drunk because I just think it's really hard to be safe and be
Mm-hmm.
drunk. So
Yeah.
if
It
you can
is.
safely be drunk and you're having the time of your life, good for you. But
Yeah.
somebody's got to be paying attention.
Yeah.
That is in no way a criticism of Amy, and it does not excuse or explain anything that happens. It's just
No.
something, you know how people ask doctors, like, if it was your kid, what would you do? Or if it was you, what would you choose?
Mm-hmm.
As a forensic therapist, I can tell you I would choose to be in control of my brain. I've just
Yeah.
seen so much stuff. It's
Yeah.
scary.
But it's hard. I mean, you're young. She was
Oh my
22. You know,
gosh,
it's like
absolutely. Would I have drank on a cruise in my 20s? Absolutely.
absolutely. What's funny? So I'm actually thinking of when my honeymoon with Preston, we met a couple at an all-inclusive. We're actually still friends with them.
Mm.
Preston and him go hunting. She actually just came through Denver for some conference and she came and had dinner at our house. This
Oh,
was
that's fun.
like 8 years ago almost.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, yeah, well, we definitely met some strangers at an all-inclusive and had some drinks with them. However, we never got out of control. We
Yeah.
always knew what was going on. And they ended up obviously becoming good, some friends of ours who live out of state. But it's so important, like what you're saying, is to just be vigilant. And unfortunately, here's the thing. Unfortunately, these cases show us that we can't trust everybody.
That's the takeaway. Yep.
And I think
I
with
wish we
this,
could drink and be merry, but we just live in
yes,
a world that is just not always safe.
no, and it can be. It's funny. One of our, our boss, where we work, I was talking to him about something. I can't even remember what we were saying. And I said something. He was like, "We have to remember that most humans are good.
Oh, I love
Most
when he says that. He always
I
says that.
know, and I'm like that soothes like that really um
You and I are like, that's
stressful.
adorable. No, right?
I know. I'm like that serves like a really, my critical side and my skeptical side, but I also am like, and I don't know if I believe you, but I do. I do when I think logically about it. However, that doesn't mean that we should just go and trust that everyone has our best interest because that's not necessarily true.
No.
And so, I really do hope and pray that Amy is found. I do hope that the family gets some level of closure, regardless of what that looks like, because I cannot imagine what they're going through still,
Yeah.
over 25 years later.
Oh my gosh, the woman she sent the message in the bottle to.
I know, I
Oh,
cannot.
I cried.
I know. Well,
I was
yeah, of
getting ready
course.
and I teared up and I was like, this is just
So sad.
wild.
Yes.
So sad.
Yeah. I think the heart piece for me just goes to just be mindful of who you're around,
Mm-hmm.
be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there are bad people out there, and I think Amy got mixed up with some of them
Well, and I was thinking about,
because she gave them benefit of the doubt.
yes, with a false sense of security.
Yes.
It made me think a lot about the cases we've covered with women who were not searched for.
Mm,
And that's been a hard thing that you and I've it hasn't been many cases because in most cases the families and the friends fight and fight and fight to find their person. That's the vast majority, but we've seen a few
mhm,
where people are targeted and we've seen this from serial killers, etc.
mhm.
Target people that they don't think anybody will miss. And the
Yeah.
truth is every person has inherent value and is missed by someone somewhere,
Yeah.
always. But in this case, part of the heart for me is this family
Mm,
will not quit. There is no
I
quit
know.
in
I
them.
love
I
it.
love it. And you can just feel the love that they all
Mhm.
have for each other. And I have to believe that even though they're not all together, that they still feel each other's love. All of them feel
Yeah.
it. And you can
Yeah.
tell. And the
Yes.
brother even said, I would rather not have an answer because I want to live in a world where she's alive and we can find her. There's the possibility of finding her.
Yes.
And I just thought that was really beautiful.
Yeah. I know. I do too. So there's the case, you guys. There are our thoughts on this case. I believe she's still out there,
I think she may still be out there. I'm hoping she's still out there.
and I'm hoping that all of the media traction that she is getting in this case is getting helps bring her and whoever she has safely home.
Yes. And in the meantime, worry less about Target and more about who you're hanging out with. Heard it here first.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Keep your head on a swivel at the Target, too. I'm just saying.
Yeah, if someone's
Statistically,
following you, grab a staff member.
about 100%.
Oh, also, really quickly, I do believe that on that cruise ship, there were more people involved in that whole
Oh, I
situation,
agree.
by the way.
Ring.
And I think they handled it awful. The
Agreed.
ones who maybe weren't involved.
Agreed.
Just saying.
No, no, I agree. It was more than just Yellow. Okay. Yellow was like
Absolutely.
maybe allegedly the front man of this, whatever. He was the
Yeah.
face interacting with her that night.
Yeah.
But oh yeah. This
When I
was
think
some kind
his
of
agitation, allegedly, I think his agitation when he got home is because he was doing the dirty work.
yes.
Anyway, that's my theory.
Oh, I hear you, buddy. You know what? You always know. You've got like some of the best spidey senses I know.
I appreciate that.
You do.
I appreciate that. I think he had to do the dirty work and he maybe didn't love that, but also he's wrapped up in, I mean,
What he was
stuff
wrapped
like
up in.
some of that brings in a lot of money.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, unfortunately,
Oh, well, be safe.
keep your head on a swivel, as Janine would say.
Keep your head on a swivel, especially with those close to you statistically. And on that light and happy note, we will see you next week.
As always.
Bye, forensic friends. I'm Janine.
And I'm Nat.
And as always, thanks for listening and join us next week for more crime, psychology, and heart.